Introducing Tencent Games, a Chinese-based company you've probably never heard of, that is in fact the largest video game company in the world. Tencent currently own Riot Games and have stakes in Epic Games, Activision Blizzard, and Ubisoft, just to name a few. And in its infinite wisdom, it has decided to develop the type of game that the world desperately needs. Not really, it's another fucking battle royale game. At first glance, a player would think that this is just a rip-off of PUBG, which makes sense because Tencent own that as well, but after a few matches, you quickly realize that it's just a better version of PUBG without the initial price of admission. The start of every match is quite different from any other battle royale games that I've played, as instead of dropping in from the sky, you simply pick a point on the map and spawn in directly. Although perhaps not as exciting, this method does however offer more tactical opportunities, as players with a good memory can map out where they are likely to find enemy players and where it's probably safe to scavenge without consequence. Although, what often happens is you end up playing chicken with your squad when no one wants to be the first to suggest a location. Another key difference is that every player starts with a weapon and a piece of equipment by default, and on the map I was able to play, the three options were a grapple, a BMX, and a glider. Initially I chose the glider, thinking that nothing could be anywhere near as fun as simply flying anytime you wanted. Not only can this be used to traverse the map at incredible speed, but it's also perfect for the get the fuck out of there move when all other options are exhausted. The BMX is the second option, which turned out to be just as fun, as players are able to summon it at any time they please. Not only did this make getting around more enjoyable, but it was a great way to annoy the shit out of my teammates in the downtime between fights. What you're about to witness is the exact moment I figured out how to ring the bell. The last, and certainly my favorite piece of equipment is the grapple, which can be used to get around faster and gain that all important high ground at any moment. Fans of Attack on Titan will fucking love this contraption, and its versatility and creative options make it unmatched compared to other offerings. Players can feel free to hide up a tree and speak Vietnamese, hang upside down for an unexpected angle, or my personal favorite, use the just cause logic of grappling to the ground to mitigate all fall damage. From what I could find, Tencent is yet to acquire the Just Cause franchise. We wish them all the best. Something I personally didn't like when Call of Duty made their battle royale was that the cool shit you could get was often very limited. For example, the grapple was rare and only valid for 5 users. Ring of Elysium knows that limiting an enjoyable part of a game just isn't fun, and the cooldown of all abilities are extremely generous by any standard. In fact, they were so much fun to use that I often just ditched perfectly good vehicles in favor of the more environmentally friendly methods of travel. Looting is also an aspect that seems to favor a much more plentiful approach, as even after clearing out 2 or 3 buildings, a player is usually more than well equipped for an engagement. Although, the biggest criticism of this game seems to be the very different pace compared to other battle royale offerings. Fights seem to be so incredibly short, as the time to kill is almost non-existent. There were even some occasions when my squad members had gotten themselves in a fight only 20 meters away, and before I could even get to their location, it was long over. The time to kill by itself is going to come down to personal preference. On one hand, getting kills felt both easy and satisfying, but at the same time, getting killed often felt abrupt and unexpected. Getting killed so quickly really made me miss other quality of life systems, such as the spawn beacon mechanic in Apex Legends. This on its own isn't such a criticism, but the time between death zones often felt slightly longer than necessary, meaning that the downtime felt a lot longer when combined with the shorter engagements. Once again, this might simply be up to personal preference. The death zone itself is quite a shock when getting caught outside the safe area, as instead of the ring closing in slowly, it immediately engulfed everything in a thick and terrifying cloud of ash. Although it's certainly one of the more interesting concepts, it definitely felt like one of the more unforgiving. The overall graphics won't necessarily push the genre forward, but Ring of Elysium certainly seems more geared toward offering higher frame rates over showing off cutting-edge ray tracing technology that only 1% of players ever get to experience. This did seem to leave it more open to bombard the player with more intense weather effects, which would be impossible with more demanding graphics. As expected for a free-to-play game, there are more cosmetics than anyone could ever want, with even the most obscure items like backpacks, bikes, and even the lobby music, all being customizable in some way or another. One of the more interesting features was the ability to play as another character entirely, with the game featuring the protagonist from the first Watch Dogs game, that guy from the second Watch Dogs game, every anime girl ever, and a strange pirate Terminator spin-off. However, players will be pleased to know that the very best cosmetics are already unlocked by default. In the end, this is a super solid offering for those who are aficionados of the battle royale genre. PUBG fans especially are going to seriously appreciate the direction of this game, and with it being entirely free, it would be hard to not recommend this to anyone looking to fill a battle royale sized hole in their lives. This game currently ranks only second to Apex Legends in my mind, but still beats the premium offerings by even the larger AAA studios. Ring of Elysium is currently available on Steam, and players who try it out might find it more abruptly surprising than the ending of this video. Now at this point, I was going to end the video with a hilarious cut to an outro song, perhaps a remix of Daft Punk. In fact, this entire video was supposed to be sponsored, but I foolishly finished the script before knowing the talking points requested by the developer. Turns out, I was supposed to mention the new sea-based update, and ideally, parody a nature documentary. So it's critical to point out that this video is no way sponsored by the developer. I can say anything I want, like mentioning the fuck ugly appearance of the main menu and inventory. However, the real sponsored video is up on the screen now. For those who wish to see it, just click that shit and prepare to witness the narrative-driven experience of me trying to make a nature documentary. But until next time, have fun and embrace the bullshit.